All right, welcome back. Finally, the final issue of Age of Apocalypse in X-Men Omega. It's been a long ride. I was excited to do Age of Apocalypse. A lot of people were wanting me to do it. I did all of the Onslaught stuff, and then like the next natural thing was to kind of go through all of Age of Apocalypse. I was only going to do so many issues of just what I had, which were only like 3 or 4 titles. But then I was like, you know what? I have access to all these issues. I'll just do every single issue. There's like 7 or 8 titles, 4 issues each. It's a lot to do. And I'm glad that it's over, honestly. I've enjoyed doing these videos, rereading these comics, but it's been kind of a chore, and I think you can probably hear it in some of my videos. I just don't have like the enthusiasm for some of them like I once did. So this is the final issue, and we're going to get into it. Before I do, I just kind of want to let everyone know that since this is going to be the last of this series, I'm going to be taking a break from doing videos for a little bit. The videos aren't too terribly hard to do, but I do have to sit down and figure out what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it a little bit, and then get the videos out there. And you know, it's fun to do. It's fun to like get your thoughts out and have people listen to it and comment on it and have a little bit of dialogue back and forth with people. But it's also like I got other stuff going on in my life, and I need to like focus on some other things for the next little bit. Next month is a convention that me and my brother Rob go to and have art booths out where we try and sell our art and our comics. FanX, Salt Lake City. If you're ever in the area, please come and see us. But that's coming up next month, and I got to finish some of the stuff that I'm working on, and get product ready and get ready for that. Plus, I have a full-time job. I have a wife. I have a kid. I don't have a lot of time to do these, and sometimes I have to force myself to do these videos when I'd rather just kind of like relax or do something else or clean the house or do everyday stuff. So, I'm going to take a break after I do these, just so everyone knows, and I'm going to maybe revamp the channel a little bit, maybe do something differently. My format might be different. I'm going to try some new things, experiment with some stuff that I've been able to, with technologies, and make some different kinds of videos, and not just have a format of like looking at a comic and looking down at it. My brother, Rob, and others are able to do this much more effectively than I am able to do. So you'll always have someone to like watch to read, comic books. And I'll still will do this every now and then, but I want to do it with comics that I am excited about. And a lot of these Age of Apocalypse comics I just was not excited about, and I didn't have anything to say. So I'd rather have something to say instead of trying to figure out something to say about them, if that makes sense. So basically, if you don't see anything from me for a while, that's the reason. I may still do some video game ones. I don't get nearly as many views. I don't get a lot of views for these, but I don't get nearly as many views for my video games as these, but they're kind of funner and easier to do sometimes. So enough about me, enough about all that bullshit. Let's talk about the comic, okay? X-Men Omega, the final issue. Cool, weird, holographic kind of, whatever kind of cover you call this. Drawn by John Romita Jr. You got the cool, Magneto and Apocalypse cover there. Of course, you got to have those guys, and then all the X-Men back there with the Emkron crystal. All stories are now going to converge on this. Do I need to give a recap of everything that's happened? No, you probably know it anymore, but really quick. Bishop told everyone that this reality shouldn't have happened because Professor Xavier was killed in the past. He knows that, so he tells Magneto. Magneto sends his team off to get Illyana, the Emkron Crystal, Destiny, to send Bishop back in time. Destiny can verify the story. Emkron Crystal can send them, and Illyana can make it happen somehow. I don't know, something to that effect. They get all this together, but Apocalypse has the Emkron Crystal at this point. He has Magneto captured. He has their son, or his and Rogue's son, and that's where it is. Like, we have a bunch of other people, and we'll kind of talk about their stories and how they converge here. So, cover is done by John Romita Jr. The interior was done by Roger Cruz, and we've all talked about Roger Cruz, and he's an exceptionally good artist, especially now. Back then, I didn't care for his art really at all. I thought he was a Joe Madureira clone, a ripoff. It's hard to say what his intentions were or what he was trying to go for. All I know is when I first picked this up and I opened this, I'm like, all right, Joe Mad has drawn this. And then I'm like, wait a minute. No, he's not. That's not him. So Magneto's captured, and here he is. And he's like kind of trying to fight back. He's like resisting. And someone off screen telling him to fall, just give up. And he's saying like, never. I'll never do it. I'm going to fight you with my dying breath. He's like, oh, really? Well, let's find out. And he fucking zaps him. That's the opening. Scott Lobdell, story. Mark Waid does dialogue. Inks, La Rosa, Townsend, Kessel, Candelario, Hanna, and Milgram. Jesus. And pencils by Roger Cruz. So there's Apocalypse, and there's fucking Holocaust, and they're just toying with Magneto. They're like, we have everything. This is the age of Apocalypse. You are going to lose. We are going to triumph. And he basically says, like, yeah, fuck you. Like, you're fooling yourself if you think we're going to quit. And then he's like, doesn't matter. I have everything. I know what you're trying to do. The Shadow King has seen glimpses of this world. He kind of mind-fucked Bishop when they had him captured for a little bit. And he's like, I can't let you unmake this world, and I'm going to make it impossible. And he has the M'Kron crystal, and it's kind of like, it's down here. They're experimenting on it. And he's like, I know the X-Men are going to come for you, Magneto. They're going to come for this thing. And they want to take this world away from me, but they're going to die. So he's like, congratulate me. Apocalypse will rule. So it shows Angel for a little bit. He was playing both sides. He had like this little nightclub. And he was kind of on the side of... He was just kind of a middleman, right? But he was eventually found out, so now he's kind of on the run, and he's trying to find his partner, Karma. She was taken hostage, so he's like fighting back against these fuckers, but he eventually finds her, and she dies in his arms, and he's fucking pissed. Like, he can't just sit back and do nothing anymore like he's been doing. So, then in come the X-Men. They're teleported through by, I guess, Blink here. And we got Iceman, Rogue, Colossus, Ileana, Blink, Gambit, Destiny right there, Nightcrawler, Jubilee, Bishop, Shadowcat, Quicksilver. The X-Men took the opportunity. And like, they know if they win or lose, this is going to be their final battle. So they're like, okay, what's the plan? What are we going to do? And Colossus is not happy with what he's being asked to do. He's being asked to like give up his sister, who he just rescued, who he thought was dead and stuff like that. So he's kind of becoming a problem, and Kitty Pryde knows it. He let his group of students, Generation Next, die just so he could save her. Gambit is here, and they find Beast. He was in Factor X. And he's like, maybe this guy can give us some answers that we're looking for. And he kind of mentions, he I don't know, it somehow segues into what Cyclops is doing. Cyclops and Jean Grey are leading these prisoners to freedom. He's trying to get, he says, over the bridge to freedom. They're whole hand in hand. They have a history. Mr. Sinister used their DNA to create X-Man, who's going to show up really soon. So they're running away. Cyclops betrayed. He was a prelate. He was an apocalypse enforcer. He was going to be a horseman, but he's a good man. So he changed sides. But after him is fucking Havoc, who's still a dick, and Havoc is mean and evil, and he wants nothing more than to kill fucking Cyclops. So while all this crazy shit is going on, Angel comes like swooping through, and he sacrifices himself. He runs towards the force field generator and like kills himself, but it takes out the generator, and it kind of says he will not be mourned. No one knows that he did that. But what he did there, his sacrifice will allow a new player to enter the arena. And there's Nate Gray, X-Man, who is extremely powerful, and he's getting more powerful by the moment. So, Apocalypse, Magneto are still talking, and then this is, I think, Shadow King in some weird variation. And he's like, they come to report, and he says, our Southwest Kingdom, it exists no longer. It's all gone. And they're like, wait, what? What is he ranting about? And they say the Eurasian High Council managed to set off their bombs from within North America. The entire Midwest is now a radioactive crater. So, yeah, they're in New York, and like the entire Midwest is just fucking gone. And Magneto's fucking pissed. Like, what have you done? What have you allowed to happen? Like all these people are dead. And Apocalypse is like, yeah, but what are we going to do? Retaliate. And he says, expand the seawall defense grid across the Atlantic now. Maybe that's what happened in X Universe number 2. Is that what the seawall was? Anyways, so they're like, we're going to retaliate. And he's like, well, Magneto, I was going to let you live long enough to see the end of this, the death of your dream, but I don't have time for this anymore. But then he gets hit from behind somehow. And they look up to see who it is. And it's like the nail in your coffin. And it's fucking X-Man. And Magneto, he knows who this is. He's like, you're the guy, the one that forged the promise he would deliver to me someday. And X-Man, he's like, stay down, this is my fight, it's not yours anymore. He's like, think again. He's like, you've bought precious seconds, let's make the most of them. So right now you got Magneto and X-Man facing off against Holocaust and Apocalypse. So down with the rest of the X-Men, they start fighting. Shit is going off. Alarm is going off. Things are going bad. So they get Destiny to the Mcron crystal, and she has precognitive ability. She can kind of see the future. Her second sight allows her to glimpse alternate realities, and she is able to verify Bishop's story. She knows once and for all that every word has been true. And she's like, Ileana and I have no choice but to facilitate Bishop's journey into the past so that he can repair the continuum. If he doesn't, because the Mcron crystal is going nuts, because the Mcron crystal is, I've explained this in Gamut the Externals, it's cross-dimensional, abilities. So when one gets fucked up from one world, it affects everything. And in this world, Jean Grey wasn't trained by Professor X because he's dead. So she never became the Phoenix and never repaired the Mcron crystal. So it's about to destroy everything. It's just been expanding unchecked, and it's going into other dimensions, which is what was happening in the Prime universe. So it's not just this world, not this universe, it's multiple universes, right? So Destiny realizes that, and she's like, we have to do this. And Quicksilver's like, okay, we'll go with you. We'll have a team to escort you. He's like, no, only the three of us can go. Me, Bishop, Ileana. For only we three no longer have counterparts in the other reality. It's like, why would that be? Unless, it's like Bishop, like there's only one of him, but Destiny and Ileana are dead. at that point. They come back. She comes back as magic. She's a young woman instead of a child. So that, Colossus is like, wait, what? No, like, she can't go. I can't lose her. So we cut to this big fucking splash page, and look, there's an X-Man. He's like fucking going up against Holocaust. They come busting through. That's what happened, because the X-Men are down here. So X-Man holding his own against Holocaust, and so everyone else joins in the fight, and Magneto shows up. And he's like, and they're like, cool, like, tell us what to do. Give us orders. Like, nope, no more orders. This is the last of it. What's going to happen? So, you need to choose what you want to do on your own. And he kind of starts explaining this to Illyana. It's like, I can't help you to do this. I'm going to tell you what will happen if we create this better place. She's like, this is a place with no sugar, man. She was in a place that was just fucking horrible. And he's like, a place where a place where little girls like me won't have to be afraid. And he's like, yeah, I think so. And she's like, okay, I will do this. And Colossus, he's like, no, you can't. Like, don't listen to him. So let's see. So they convince her to do it. She says, okay. And Destiny's like, okay, come with me, follow me. And the others like just kind of like watch our backs. And Colossus says to Magneto, if you fucking do this, we're going to be enemies forever. And he says, if I'm wrong, then that's going to be the least of our worries. So he says, protect the crystals, our soul salvation, protect it before it's too late. So another opportunity with Kitty Pryde there. So people start fucking fighting right here. It's kind of hard to tell who's fighting what, but you know shit is going down. Then it goes to Jean Grey, and she's like, oh God, the bombs. They've unleashed the bombs. The Human High Council has made it here, and they're dropping nuclear bombs. That's what happened at the end of Weapon X with Wolverine. Wolverine was bringing that shit to him. And you see he's coming down on a fucking parachute. Wolverine don't need no parachute. He probably needs it. So Wolverine's entering the fray. Back to more Holocaust fighting. X-Man punches him, fucking hits him with a TK blast, whatever that is. And he does something. I guess that was enough to kind of fuck him up for a little bit. He's like, thanks for the warm-up, but I need to move on to the main event, which is fucking Apocalypse. So, more fighting up here. This art is, again, it's fine. It's serviceable. I couldn't do better. There's fucking Sugar Man. He somehow shrunk in size. He was a big hulking thing, but he got beat the fuck up by him. Then, like, he became small and he was hiding in fucking Colossus's boot, I guess. And then he jumps into the Emkron crystal. So that's not good. And Colossus is like, well, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna be at my sister's side. He's like, I'm coming, Illyana. He's gonna fuck everything up. He's like you're gonna ruin their chances. So Iceman steps in. So to get to the crystal, you have to go through me. And Colossus is like, small threat, and just crashes through Iceman, presumably killing him right here. But then he gets shot from the back, and it's Gambit. And Gambit's like, the only way you're going to fuck things up is over our dead bodies. So now we go to Destiny and Illyana. They're inside the Emkron crystal. They're looking at the alternate reality, and they're saying, like, what we need to do, how we need to do it, say your farewell. And they, and Illyana somehow has the power to send her. We are in the nexus of all possibilities. Open your mind, imagine those powers develop, and they will become so. So they send Bishop off to fix the past. So yeah, this is what happened in Universe X, or X Universe. Universe X, that's something entirely different. The worst fears of the Human High Council have been realized. Apocalypse's defense grid is no longer limited to defense. Within moments, the Trask, the Council, and all of England will be dust. So it's just fucking like nuclear Armageddon going on here. They shot nukes at America. They shot back. That's the seawall that happened in this fucking comic that I was getting mad at. And Apocalypse is happy with this. It's like, this is gonna like show me like mutant or humans alike. One of them is gonna be, you know, it's the survival of the fittest. You know, it doesn't matter who, if you're either one of them. Just if you're a survivor. Then he gets fucking shot. Or something happens to him, and it's fucking Magneto. Magneto's ready to fucking beat the fuck out of someone. And Magneto uses his powers, and he like creates this armor, this red armor around him. And he uses it to like just start pounding away on Apocalypse, taking the fight to him. And he's beating him, he's winning, but then they tell him to stop because fucking strong guy here, Guido, they have his kid. So that kind of makes Magneto stop. A lot is going on in this, so it keeps cutting back, and you're not able to dwell on any one thing for too long. But we go to Wolverine, Weapon X, and he's coming up on Cyclops and Jean Grey, but there's Havoc. Havoc shoots Jean Grey right in the goddamn back. And presumably going to kill her. And she was using her powers to keep the bombs from dropping. He's like, you're a fucking idiot. This is actually a pretty cool shot right there of Cyclops and his screaming. I didn't think that was pretty good. And Cyclops, like, we're both gonna die. Is that the only thing we're gonna do together? And Havoc shoots him, but I don't understand. Their powers negate each other. They established that in lore, but also the last issue. So why does it do anything to him now? Yeah, and he just like, so Havoc kills Jean Grey, Havoc kills fucking Cyclops, but at the very last minute, Wolverine fucking kills Havoc. Maybe be a little fucking faster, Wolverine. Do you see what's going on? Maybe that was Wolverine who was yelling no. I don't know. All this time during talk, Wolverine was just watching. But he goes to Jean Grey's side. And he's like, I'm with you. And she's like, you always were. You were always with me in my heart. And then this is kind of sweet. It's like Logan remembers a myth of old of a beautiful bird that was so worshipped it would rise reborn from death's ashes. But though he desperately wants to believe otherwise, he knows that his beloved Jean is no phoenix. So she's dead. Havoc is dead. Fucking Cyclops is dead. So it goes to, there's a countdown here. Armageddon minus 15. Minus 10 now. So now it goes to Bishop, and he goes in the past, and he sees Legion here, and he's about ready to accidentally kill Professor Xavier. So Bishop's running in to take him out, but he's stopped by his younger self. He goes back out, and Beast is here, and he was being held captive by the X-Men, but he takes an opportunity to try and escape. He's teleporting, and Quicksilver comes over and scrambles the circuits. And it says here that he rematerialized in the center of the Mcron crystal, so he got teleported inside the Mcron. So Sugarman and Beast are presumably both in there. I don't know. Minus 5, so Colossus is going nuts. Iceman tried to stop him, failed. Gambit tried to stop him, but I guess he's failing. So Kitty Pryde steps in front of him. And he comes charging forward, and she says she moves to block her husband. She trusts that their love will protect her. She trusts that he would never hurt her. She trusts him to stop. And that is why she doesn't phase. So he just barrels right through her and ends up killing his wife on accident. And so he's like, what have I done? And he's like, no, don't leave me. He's just screaming in horror over his own actions. And Gambit, I don't know. He's like, you're going to be right behind her. And he shoots him with something and he kills Colossus. Would he be able to do that when Colossus is in his metal form? Maybe he changed. Who knows? With a shriek of metal, Colossus falls, as much from grief as from pain. And as shredded steel turns into one last time into shredded flesh, Pyotr Rasputin breathes his final words. And he has a moment with his sister. It's like, forgive me, I thought I was the bravest of us all, and then I met you. I'm so scared. Give me courage and hold me. But Quicksilver comes and gets her out of there. As these bad guys are going to come and something happens. I don't know. So that's a sad moment. Colossus is dead. She lost her brother. It goes back to Strong Guy who had Rogue's kid, but Rogue is there somehow, and she just touches his head with her, flesh to flesh. It's like, I draw your mass away, turn it into raw power. And she's like, you want a bag? He's like, please. She's like, fine. So she punches his ass, sends his flying. That's for touching my boy. So she saved her son. Good job, Mom. Good job, Rogue. So Apocalypse is trying to get away, but there's X-Man to stop him. And Apocalypse has a shard. He's going to try and get us away in the alternate timeline. That would be fucking crazy, right? If this version of Apocalypse showed up. But X-Man stops him. He hits him from behind. He drops the shard. X-Man catches it, and he kicks him in the face with his powers. Goes back to the past. Old Bishop punches young Bishop in the stomach. And right as Legion is about to do his thing where he's going to kill Magneto, but Professor X is going to intervene, Bishop comes running in and he yells, David. He's like, wait, who knows my name? He's like, I do. I know why you're here. Bishop tackles him, and they have like an argument here. Legion, he has like some telepathic powers, right? I don't know. He's like, don't take this chance away. You don't know what you're doing. He's like, no, you don't. Let me show you. And Bishop plunges David's side blade deep into his own chest, absorbing the energy, then unleashing it just as swiftly over and over again, creating a loop of psionic power that connects the two men and engulfs them in a torrent of horrific force that only one can survive. So somehow Legion here saw what Bishop was going to, like what Bishop saw. So he saw the whole Age of Apocalypse. Like, oh my God, I made a mistake. It was horrible. It was a nightmare. It's my fault. And then there's more talking about that. And then like the X-Men of that timeline, they see him and like this like time vortex comes and like takes them out. The time stream is rebuilding itself, and we're left with Magneto and Xavier and this other woman, I forget her name, Gabby. And they all, like, everything that happened, none of them remember. So that, tying up all loose threads, putting the timeline back in order. So, Magneto and X-Man here, they're fucking up Apocalypse. He's like, keep fighting. He's like, I want to hear him beg for mercy. And something happens to Nate here. Oh, it was Holocaust. And so he's going to come up and to finish the job on X-Man, but he still has the Imkron shard, and he plunges it into Holocaust. And you see them, the most mysterious result and most unexpected. And I think the two of them disappear. With the help of a crystal. So Apocalypse, with all that, he's like, don't pay attention to them, fight back. He has him by the throat. He's like, why won't you fight back? Keep fighting. And Magneto says, I'm concentrating. He's like, what? And Magneto does something fucking crazy right here. Oh my god. So he uses powers to just rip Apocalypse apart. He's like, tell me again just how strong you are. We were the mightiest of our race, Apocalypse. Suppose we'd been on the same side. What a world that would have been. So he goes and he joins Rogue, his wife, and his child. It's like, it's over. Apocalypse is dead, and this world is over as well. There's fucking nuclear bombs going off in the back here, it looks like. And they're like, do you think Bishop like succeeded? We have to hope. That's all we have. I would never have believed until I met you that hope would be so dear to me. But then a good man once gave me faith that all things were possible. So Magneto and Rogue, they're just staying there as a family. It's kind of making me like teary-eyed knowing like if I had to do this with my family and my son. You know, the blast is coming for them if they're just watching it come and just being together as a family, and it just overtakes them in this cool like design of this X-Men logo with the panels. And we saw that there was kind of a countdown going, you know, T minus like 3, 2, 1, 0. And that's the end. So there we have it. The finale of the Age of Apocalypse. It was a long, drawn-out storyline. It was only went 4 months, 4 issues, right? I kind of wish, you know, because they didn't have the internet back then, and they said, like, we were canceling all X-Men titles and revamping them. You're like, what the fuck? That's so crazy. Now we know that everything is going to go back to the status quo eventually, but it would have been kind of cool if they would have went through a longer time period with this. They seem to have to rush a lot of stuff in just 4 months or 4 issues, and it kind of like, I don't know, could have dwelled on more of the characters and got you to care for them a little bit more, maybe. I don't know, but it was a big storyline, and people, you know, they've tried to do alternate universes in other titles and stuff like that. I don't know if that's ever gotten the success of what this was at the time. It is a major event in X-Men history. Probably as high up, not as high up as like the Phoenix saga and all that. That was probably the biggest thing. Days of Future Past, obviously. But Age of Apocalypse was certainly a big moment in X-Men history. So there we have it. The end of the Age of Apocalypse. What am I going to do next? Well, I'm not even sure. Like I said, it's going to be a little while before I get to do anything. I think I want to do some DC stuff. Look at some Batman, Superman, Justice League stuff. And I may do more like I was originally doing like full story arcs and like graphic novels and showcasing that. And maybe doing that like once a week or once every 2 weeks instead of like trying to put these out day by day, because I can't do it. I don't have the energy for it, and I don't know if I had more people following me, maybe that's something I would be able to do, but I'm just not able to do that at this moment. So thank you for everyone who's followed me, who's taken this journey with me, who's commented. Thank you for subscribing just for Rusty. I'll probably try and put just some Rusty videos up so people can see him get their Rusty fix. Speaking of which, he's not around here at all for these. So thank you. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, share it with people if you think it's a good video. Again, thank you. I can't say that enough. And as always, whenever it is, I will see you in the next video.